Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi taala wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Dani Osman. Metric number is EC20009, and I want to explain about question 1A. Okay, first, an asset is an economic value property owned or operated by a person, entity or country to provide a potential benefit. Services are listed on the balance sheet of a company and are purchased or generate to maximize the valuation of a company to finance the activities of the company. An asset should be viewed as something that will create cash flow, minimize costs, or boost revenue in the future, irrespective of whether it is manufacturing equipment or copyright. A commodity constitutes an economic resource for a company that has access to the other people or company do not have. A right or other relation is legally enforceable, meaning that capital asset can be used at the discretion of an organization and that its use can be forbidden or restricted by an owner. For an asset to be present, a company must have a right to it as of the date of the financial statement. An economic resource is a scarce thing that can achieve economic gains by generating capital inflow or reducing cash outflow. Assets may be divided widely into the capital in short-term or current disposition, fixed asset, capital reserve, and intangible asset. Assets is one of the accounting and equation and the balance sheet is present and asset equal to liabilities plus stockholder.
For the question B, the comparison in total asset for 2019 and 2018. The total asset for 2019 is Rm 868,510,037 ringgit, which is higher than the total asset in 2018, which is Rm 145,591,483 ringgit. Next, the sudden increase in value of asset. The sudden increase in value of asset in 2019 is because of the total increase of total non-current asset which bought by university. Non-current asset also known as long-term asset. For question C, liabilities is something that a person or company owns. It's usually a sum of money. Then, total liability in 2018. Total liability in 2018 is Rm 586,121,201 ringgit. For the observation, when total liability are more than total asset, it is called negative net worth. Then the conclusion, a negative working capital can still be saved, but if it takes too long to be settled, it will lead to a bankrupt. So it is more important to avoid negative working capital. Then my suggestion, university should consider a moderate working capital and use excess cash to be invested in equipment or properties needed for business.
For question 2A, in my opinion, the key revenue for 2019 based on the revenue and expenditure statement are government grant, other grants, student fees, and others. Based on the revenue and expenditure statement, we all can see with clear that the total revenue the university get in 2019 is 267,183,352 ringgit Malaysia. It shows that the total revenue in 2019 is more than the total revenue in 2018. It means that the university received more money in 2019. Next, the most important client of the university is government, because the university received more money from government than other revenues, which is 165,931,500 ringgit Malaysia. So the university need to take care their client for retain a longer time period. There are some ways to retain the client. First, build trust relationship. Trust between the client and university is very important thing that make more revenue for university. Second, improving the productivity of the university. The government will not hesitate to donate the money to the university if their performance very good.
Question 2B. What is capital expenditure? The sum spent on purchasing or enhancing the capacity or capability of long-term assets such as machinery or building is capital expenditure. We are investing money on fixed assets including roof repair or the purchasing of equipment. This kind of financial spending is often intended to retain or expand the scope of their activity. So, what is operating expenditure? The regular expense required for running a company are operating expenditure. Rents, utilities, wage and contribution to the pension plan, for example. Operating costs consist of expense incurred on a regular basis by the corporation to operate smoothly. That is the expense incurred by the organisation when converting inventory into the finished product in the process. What was the total expenditure of the university for 2019? Total expenditure is 283.08.785 million for 2019. What does it mean if revenue is less than expenditure? If the income is smaller than the expenditure, it means the company has difficulty investing its cash. According to the balance sheet, the university spent money due to less revaluation of asset and employee benefit, which is 5.878.033 million for less revaluation of assets and 12,078 for employee benefit. Too much spending is spent in 2019 compared to 2018. So we find that there are some financial problem for 2019, but it does not affect very much. In my opinion, better revenue is higher than expenditure because it will generate profit for the university. Thank you.
For question 2C, what is fixed cost? Fixed cost is a cost that does not change with an increase or decrease in the amount of goods or services produced or sold. Fixed costs are expenses that have to be paid by a company or independent of any specific business activities. In my opinion, the thing that I will consider as a fixed cost for the university are communication and utilities, professional services and hospitalities, maintenance and minor repair services, and rental. For example, if the students have to be away from campus for 1 year, the lecture hall will not to be used. When the lecture hall was not used automatically, the air conditions and lamps in the lecture hall are not switched on, so the utilities electric bills will be low because none of the students will use the air conditions and lamps in the lecture
Fixed cost is defined as expense and neglecting the amount number of production being produced. The fixed cost will always maintain throughout year by year as long as operations are in progress. For the example, university fee, rental, maintenance, and minor repair service. For variable cost, it is said as the cost that vary directly proportional with the volume of good or service that a business operates. If the volume of the activity increase, the cost will be increased. For the example, tax, employee benefit, and supply and service. The cost per student per year borne by the university can be calculated by know that student does not need to worry about bill electricity and water by staying at the hostel. For the example, in University Malaysia Pahang, for subject electrical engineering, we have been asked to pay around RM2,110 per year, including the hostel. University borne more than just bill electricity and water. Other costs that can be estimated for per student per year are facility lab, maintenance for sport complex, examination, and answer sheet. Let's say that we have do a calculate about this cost, and we get average cost per student per year borne by the university is around 980 ringgit to the 1,450 ringgit. while student fee is 2,110 ringgit. So we can see that from the cooperation, university will still have revenue around 980 ringgit to 1,130 ringgit per year. Lastly, the cost per student per year can be reduced by do a campaign about how to use electricity and water efficiency to make the bill of electricity and water can be reduced per year. That's all from me. Thank you.